Hey, me again. So today I'm going to fit new taillights to my Audi A6, the white one. And I got these taillights, brand new, and these are the American spec taillights. So the corner is all red, as opposed to these that I have in the car, the Euro spec, which has a sort of orange cutout here. I don't like the look. I prefer the red look, and if I could get the American taillights for the inner taillights, then I would, but unfortunately I can't get those. Audi don't supply them anymore, and they're no longer available, and even used ones on eBay, it's hit and miss. They're not in good condition and they are extremely pricey used. So I've just felt something on this one. It has quite a bit of a ridge over here on the corner, so I don't know what the quality is going to be like, because these are pretty smooth, but I'm going to try and fit them. Now the only thing that I've noticed is that there's a gasket that goes all around here, and these taillights came without the gasket, so I'm going to check if I can use the gasket from my old taillights and transfer them to the new taillights. If I can't do that, I'm just going to make up my own gasket. So I've just got this work mat in the car so that I don't mess up my trunk mat. Now this is the light that goes on the right hand side of the car, and there are 4 screws that hold the taillight in place. So this is inside my car, and here we can see there's one there, there's one over there, and the other 2 are sitting back here. So I need to get the carpet out of the way. I may have to take this thing off. It's for the fire extinguisher, which I don't have in the car, but I doubt it's going to be necessary. I just want to disconnect the bulbs, take the bulbs away. Just 2 bulbs, can you believe it? The reverse light bulb is actually in here, it's on the trunk. So we have a park or a driving light and brake light, and then the indicator. So these little nuts that are holding the taillight in place are a size 8, and I'm just using a socket to loosen them, and then I should be able to pry the light off the car. So looking behind the carpet there, we can see there are the other 2 nuts, and I just have to loosen them, and then there's the gasket that's going around here. So I'm hoping I can reuse that gasket. With everything loosened, the taillight should come off the car. Needs a bit of coaxing to come off. Doesn't want to let go very easily. Okay, I see this thing is just loose, so the taillight obviously holds that in place, but I'll deal with that now. And here's the gasket that I'm talking about. So it's quite an interesting setup. By the looks of things, the gasket clips into the taillight, so I can reuse my old one. It's not glued on. It just clips in to the taillight by the looks of things. So, and it's been on there for many, many years. So it's not going to want to come off very, very easily. I see they have used a little bit of glue on the ends. I don't think that will be necessary for me, but I'm just going to see if I can pry the gasket off. There we go. So I'm just prying this gasket off because I do need to reuse it, and there's a little bit of glue on this side over here, but I think we can pry that off. There's a little bit of glue over there, Either that or the gasket just kind of got stuck there due to heat, I guess. I don't know. So, and now the OEM ones, they are red. I don't know if you noticed that. Pirate ones or non-genuine ones are grey. This is the side that I'll be using. So I'm just checking something, and something I noticed is the OEM one has this little clear piece over here, which when the lights are on, it shines light into the trunk. Now they don't have that on the Pirate one, so that's just something I'm prepared to live with. And you can see there are two tabs over there that the gasket must clip into. Okay, there we go. Now we can just push the gasket in and around. So I'm going to get this on the car now. Something that surprises me is this is all very, very clean over here. It's not very dirty in here compared to my other car. That was quite horrendous. Now I've taken this thing out. I'm not quite sure how it came out. I may have to check my footage. But I think it went in like something like this. Something like that. And I'm just going to align it as best I can. And I've just got to guide this plastic thing on the inside onto the, but I think that is it. So you don't even need the ratchet to tighten them. You can just tighten them by hand, and that'll pull the taillight into place. So it's now tightening these screws here. It's pulling the light flush with the body lines. And when you tighten the bottom, go back and tighten the top. Just keep going back and forth until you feel they will no longer move. These top ones, well, the inside ones can still move a little bit. Now all I have to do is get this carpet back in like that. Nice and flush, and I see this thing has come out. I'm actually just going to take it off because the screws have come out. So I'm just going to take that thing off. I don't think it's necessary to have that. And then we can put the bulb holder back in place. So I have a problem here. I think I might have to put a little bit of gasket on here, around here, so that this bulb holder will have more tension on it, because it's just loose. When you clip it in, it's not tightening. Whereas on the OEM one, it clips in and it tightens. So I'm gonna try and see what I can do there. So I've got this gasket material, and I'm going to put it around the edge here and see if that's going to help to create a little bit of space for maneuverability. And this is unfortunately, you know, when you're dealing with non-genuine parts, they're cheaper, but they don't fit well, and sometimes they don't fit well at all. So if this doesn't work at all, then I don't know what I'm going to do. But Let's just see if this is going to work. It's not great, but it's there, it's on. I'm going to check if the indicator is working. So let's see. Well, that's working. Let me just check the brake light. Now, I just want to show you guys something. You can see the park light over there, and you see the park light over there. The dispersion of light on the OEM one is brighter and better, whereas on that one you can actually see the bulb. So I just want to check brakes. Okay, well, I'm fairly happy with that, so I'm going to leave it at that and do the other taillight, and then let's see what we got. Right, so they are both on the car, and like I said, I had to change a few things, but I like the look. They're lining up pretty well with the trunk lights, so in terms of alignment they're pretty straight, pretty good. But like I say, I'm not entirely sure about the quality, because if you look here, there are tiny little grooves where they glued the lenses together. There's little marks there from the glue, and this does protrude from that, whereas on the OEM one, this is all flush. There's no ridge from this taillight to that one, so I'm not entirely sure what that is about. But these pirate taillights, they tend to fade over the years. My car doesn't stand very much in the sun, doesn't spend a lot of time in the sun, so I reckon these will last longer for me. But if anyone else buys this car in the future, these taillights are most likely going to fade, and it's probably going to be a problem for them. But when I sell the car, I will give them the OEM taillights. There they are in the box, and they can just swap the gaskets over. And like I said, I did have to put a gasket on the inside. Just open the trunk. I disconnected my trunk light so it doesn't run my battery down, but I did have to put a bit of gasket in there, and that has helped this fitting to fit nicely. It's not rattling around, it's not moving. And it might have a good purpose in terms of keeping dust out there, and maybe the bulbs will last longer. Like I said, I lose my little light over there on the side, but it's not the end of the world. I've tightened the screws up nicely, and just keep tightening the screws on these two ends here, because what that does is it pulls the taillight flush on the side over here with the body of the car. But you can see the fitment is really not bad. This one has got a few scratches on here, and that might have happened in transit, I don't know, but they did have a plastic protecting them, so it's possible I did that while I was putting the gasket on here in the trunk. But I think overall they look good, and I'm gonna leave them on the car because I like the look, and they look all nice and red now. So that's a side view angle, and it's a very, very neat, clean look now, I think. And those scratches on that one, I can just buff them out. I'll buff them out with the buffer, but yeah, they're fitting pretty nicely. And you can see that here they're lining up very, very nicely with the inner taillights. So they're not sticking out more at the bottom or more at the top or anything like that. They're lining up very nicely. Like I said, it does protrude a little bit more here, but the OEM ones do that as well. So I'm not too shook up about that. And just make sure, if you're doing this, just make sure that your gasket is lipping, the lip of the gasket is coming over, because it's very easy to jam it inside the hole. So make sure that you've got this section of the gasket over the edge, because this is going to keep water and dust out of your taillight. So very, very important that. Not as bright. I don't know. Well, that's it for this video. I found this job very easy, and I think if you ever need to do this on your car, the most important parts are changing the gasket over if you don't have a gasket with your new taillights. And the other thing is just making sure you don't drop those little screws down the bottom. That's the main thing. But I'm very happy with the look. I like it, and I'm going to stick with it for now and just enjoy them. If they fade or they stop working right, I'll just take them off and swap them back again. It's not the end of the world. And maybe I'll buy some OEM American ones that actually, you know, all the fittings fit properly and I don't have to install a gasket or something like that. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. Cheers.